Hello, today we're going to have a look at what may happen to Geminis in 2019. The sign Gemini is the third sign of the zodiac, starting from Aries, then Taurus, then Gemini. Fire, earth, air. It's an air sign. And being an air sign, it's a sign that needs to communicate, to move, and needs diversity as well, rather than being at the same place and doing the same thing all the time and forever. Geminis need to move. So that notion of movement will be enhanced in 2019. Because of Jupiter. Thank you, Jupiter. Jupiter is going to transit into Sagittarius. The transit will begin on the 8th of November 2018. Today is the 18th of October 2018. So in 3 weeks or so, Jupiter will enter into Sagittarius for the first time in 12 years. And what is it going to bring to Gemini people? Well, Sagittarius is their opposite sign. It's here, fire sign. Fire and air. They mix well together, fire and air. They need one another. Fire couldn't burn without air, and air would be very, very cold without fire, without the heat of the sun. So when Jupiter transits into Sagittarius, its influence is going to be very strong. For Gemini people, yes, but for other people as well. I forgot to put my microphone, so I'm going to take it now, and I will put here and here. The sound is going to be a little bit better. So now, Jupiter in Sagittarius. Important. Why is it important? Because Jupiter is what we call the ruler of Sagittarius. It is going to be very important and very strong for Gemini-born people, of course, but it's also going to be strong for everyone, because everyone in his chart, in their chart, have something in Sagittarius. Could be a house, could be a planet, an element, whatever. So Jupiter is going to affect that element, that house, that represents a sector of life. If you were born, for example, not under the sign Gemini, but with a Gemini ascendant, or Gemini Aries rising, as we say in astrology, you have house number 7 here. Opposite your ascendant is house number 7. The ascendant is house number 1. And house 7 represents relationship, marriage, but other types of important relationships that you may have. So the transit of Jupiter in Sagittarius may trigger a need, a stronger need to be in relationship with other people and to engage in a relationship. But because there is an opposition with the sign Gemini, which would be your ascendant or maybe your sun sign, then it's going to be excessive. It is the excess that produces Jupiter that you will have to be aware of in 2019 and until the end of that transit, which will occur on the 3rd of December next year in 2019. But Jupiter can also be a source of enjoyment and expansion, evolution, success. Success to a level that you may have not known for quite a long time, maybe never before. And that same success may be difficult to handle. So success can turn against you if you're not prepared for that success. That means that you have to get prepared for an eventual success that may be much more successful than what you expect it to be or what you dream it to be. Yeah. You see, Jupiter in Sagittarius is not the only element or the only influence that you may have to be cautious or aware of in 2019. I'd like to talk to you about Neptune now, because Neptune is in between the two. If you were born under the sign Gemini, you have the Sun in Gemini somewhere, just like me actually, because I was born under that sign Gemini. If you were born with the ascendant in Gemini, you have the ascendant here somewhere in Gemini. So there is an opposition, as we have just talked about, with Jupiter, right? And Neptune is about here, halfway through Pisces. Now, Neptune is a very slow planet. Neptune takes 165 years to go around the zodiac. Neptune is in Pisces since 2012. It's been in Pisces since early February that year, and it will remain in Pisces until around 2026. So the transit is going to last 14 years. Right now, and you see here on the 1st of January 2019, Neptune will be at 14 degrees in Pisces, so virtually halfway through Pisces. But in Pisces, you see, because Pisces is in between Gemini and Sagittarius, it creates what we call a square aspect with Gemini and a square aspect with Sagittarius. So you have here that triangle, which is what I call an equivocal triangle. One that can be a source of confusion. And we've seen that Jupiter could trigger some excessive behavior, excessive trust, excessive enthusiasm, excessive as well motivation. So it's nice and it's good to believe in oneself, to be able to succeed in life. It's also okay to believe in other people, especially those who are close to us and engaged in the same venture or activities or collaborate in a professional venture. That's the only word I can find right now. Anyway, so Neptune in Pisces is and can be a source of confusion and error, because Neptune represents what we need to believe. And Neptune also represents the tendency to be or to be aware of what we should not be aware of. Neptune represents the opposite to reality. What we feel, Neptune is intuition, inspiration as well. But when Neptune is in not so good relationship with the sun sign is a very important element in a chart, because the sun is the center of everything. And the sun gives light not only to us on Earth, but to all the other planets that we can observe and see and watch and admire with a telescope, if we want to. All those planets are lit or visible because of the sun. And the sun has an energy that all the planets use and need to be able to turn around it and to go on forever. Or not perhaps forever, but for a very, very long time. Anyway, Neptune then represents what is intangible, what is not comprehensible with words, with rational explanation. So when Neptune is in not so good relationship with the sun sign or the ascendant, but the sun sign is maybe more important, more evident. It will show more. It shows as far as health is concerned, because the sun is life, and of course it has an influence on what we are made of, our structure, our physical structure, our organs and so on. So when Neptune is in dissonance, as we say, with the sun sign, it may create some ups and downs health-wise. But it also affects the way we look at life and we lead life in a rational way. We need to be rational. And when we're Geminis, we are ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and Mercury represents rational mind. So Gemini people strive to be rational. And because of Neptune, since 2012, many Geminis are wondering why they're not able to be as rational as they have been in the past, perhaps. That's because of Neptune. Thank you, Neptune. But it's also, and it will be enhanced because of Jupiter in 2019. So, and from the 8th of November 2018, so this year, it's going to begin to be stronger. Yes, so Geminis will have to be careful not to act or react according to what they fear that may happen, not to act or react according to what they want in their lives without any guarantee that what they want is going to happen. And also, they'll need to be very cautious about the way they believe in themselves and in life in general, in other people as well. Because they may be fooled by themselves, fooled by their tendency to want to be opportunistic. Opportunism is important because opportunities may lead to success in life. But for example, you shake someone's hand for the first time. Well, and you have an apprehension, an intuition, not a so good intuition. But anyway, the person in question is someone who can bring to your life something good. Could be a business, could be a job, yes, could be money, could be anything else. that you're interested in. So your intuition, you're going to leave it back somewhere and think about what and move forward because of what you want from that relationship, that new relationship, whatever it may be. But in a few months or perhaps a few years, you may realize that you should have listened to your intuition, followed your intuition, and not engaged in that relationship or in that partnership or whatever. And that's what you will have to be careful of in 2019, and mostly because of Jupiter. Jupiter was not so much of a problem in 2018 because it was transiting into Scorpio, where it is right now, still until the 8th of November. Because in Scorpio, it is in very good relationship with Neptune. It was not bad at all in 2017 when Jupiter was in Libra, because it was in good relationship with your sign Gemini or your ascendant if you were born with a Gemini ascendant. But in 2019 it's very different. And it is a year during which you will have to be reasonable. Unfortunately, Jupiter represents the tendency that we have sometimes not to be reasonable. So, remember what I'm saying today and make the best out of it. Of course, Neptune is not acting on its own. It's acting also with the influence of Jupiter, as we've just seen, but also with the influence of Saturn and Pluto. And those two here are in a harmonious relationship with Neptune, which is good. It's good because it helps Neptune not to be so much of a cloud, like something very unreal. Saturn represents reality. And when reality is in harmonious relationship with dreams are represented by Neptune. It means that some people will be able to realize their dreams. But Saturn represents also the effort that we have to put in to what we want, into what we want to achieve, of course. It's good to have dreams, to have hopes, but we need to work for those dreams to come true. Then it will not come true just like that. But if we do rely on the energy of Saturn, representing the reasonable side of ourselves, we will be able to counterbalance the energy of Jupiter in dissonance with Neptune. So we will be able to be more reasonable, more realistic and objective than if those two, especially Saturn, was not in Capricorn at the moment. In Capricorn it is very strong, just like Jupiter in Sagittarius is very strong, just like Neptune in Pisces is very strong. So those three planets are major planets, and they're in their signs of rulership, which makes them very strong. Some of them are going to be more or less at war with one another, that's Jupiter and Neptune, but others will be complementing one another, helping one another. And that's Saturn and Neptune, and Pluto and Neptune as well. And Pluto represents what we are able to question, what we are able to destroy because it's not good enough, what we are able to abandon because it's not, we don't need that anymore. And if we keep that, it's going to make our lives more heavy. So we will move forwards much slower if we keep what we should abandon, leave, or destroy, or throw out. And that could be material things, but it could also be a human relationship. It could also be a job in order to get into a better job or something that's much more in affinity with your inner self and your more profound needs and preferences. So Saturn and Pluto will act forming what we call an inconjunct with Gemini. And the inconjunct is an aspect of hesitation. So there is something good about it and something not so good about it. So because there is something good and something not so good, we're not sure. And if we're not sure, we tend to leave it for later. And we'll see what happens. For example, you have something in your mind that you want to do, and it's great if you could do it, if you could succeed, but you're not sure. So because you're not sure, you don't want to take the risk, because the risk represented by Saturn and Pluto are very heavy risks. Like Pluto represents what you could lose, and you could lose a lot if you get into that project or whatever, and are not prepared for it, are not equipped for it. And Saturn represents the load and the amount of responsibilities that will go with that project that you want to achieve. So because of that, you may think, well, no, I'm not going forward, I'll just wait for now and don't do it. But it might be too late later on. So the question is, are you going to do what you want to do next year in a reasonable way, not overdoing it, in order to avoid the risk of making mistakes that will have a detrimental effect on the realization of your project or dream, whatever it is? Or are you going to move forward, whatever the wind, whatever the weather, to reach the goal that you want to reach? It is a question that you only can answer. But for sure, regarding or looking at these configurations, myself, born under the sign Gemini, is going to be quite careful. I am going to be quite careful, to be aware of that. And every time I will feel like very enthusiastic about going into something and doing something, I will think twice. And I will go back to the energy of Saturn and Pluto and ask that energy if I can do it or not. And if I think that I can't not do it, or if I think that there is more risks of losing than chances of winning, I will not do it. I will just take it easy. And it is actually a kind of message that is sent by Jupiter. Take it easy next year. Don't overdo it. And don't overdo it as well if you feel that something is wrong in your life, that you are perhaps sick, it could affect your health. Don't exaggerate anything, and don't think that you are more sick than what you are in reality. So go to Saturn and Pluto, which is a physician, for example, a doctor, and have your health checked. And if there is something that is wrong, at least you will know it in a very concrete manner. And then you can act in a very concrete manner to treat the problem, whatever it is. It could be a health problem, as I said, but it could be many other types of problems. Then there is Uranus. Uranus will enter into Taurus on the 6th of March. For the first time, or for the second time, I should say, because Uranus already went into Taurus on the 15th of May 2018, but it moved back, well, it retrograded, as we say in astrology, into Aries. It will enter into Aries in retrograde motion on the 8th of November, just the same day when Jupiter will enter into when Jupiter enters into Sagittarius. So in Taurus, because it is the sign that precedes your sign, Gemini, or if you were born with a Gemini ascendant or rising sign, it is house 12 that's in Taurus for you. But anyway, it is your 12th solar house if you were born under that sign Gemini. And the 12th solar house is the house of karmic value. It represents the past incarnations, for example. But it also represents very important transitions in life. And the arrival of Uranus in that sign for the second time, and then it's not going to move back into Aries ever for another 84 years or 77 years. No, 84 years, that's right, until it goes back into Aries. The thing is that what is going to change in your life in 2019 will change in a very profound manner. It's on the level of the soul that Uranus is going to act. But it is in Taurus, which is an earth fixed sign. Earth fixed. So it's something very down to earth that may have to change. It could be your situation, your geographical situation, your place of residence then. But it could be also the way you earn your money every day, or the way you eat, for example. Anything to do with the Taurus influence will have to change. But Uranus is going to transit into that house, into that sign, for 7 years. So until 2025 or 26, 25 most probably. I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure it's around that year. So the time it takes to travel through Taurus is the time it may take you to organize a drastic change that will take place when Uranus enters into your sign, Gemini. And that's very, very important, because if you prepare yourself properly, you will be able to handle the change. If you're not preparing yourself properly, the change will make a victim of you. You will be victim of that change, and that change can affect profoundly your life on a physical level, so health-wise, but also on a social, professional, whatever level, because all that will depend then on your chart, your own birth chart. I'm only talking about your sun sign right now. I know that it is a very important spot in your chart because the sun is there, but at the same time there are other elements that contribute to make what you are, and there are Geminis that are very different from other Geminis because of that. So if you want to know more about what I've just explained, don't hesitate to contact me through my website, and I'll be able and happy to help you doing a forecast, for example, for you, and that forecast will be made on the basis of the transits around the zodiac, but according to your own birth chart, and not just and simply according to the position of the sun. That's right. And now, to finish off, I will talk about Mars, but only when Mars is going to transit your sign. From the 1st of April until the 17th of May, Mars will transit into Gemini. So whether you were born under that sign or with a Gemini rising, Mars is going to make you much more demanding, much more active, much more reactive as well. And reaction, because Jupiter is across the road and Neptune is there, not so not so well, not so good for you. You will have to be careful during that period of time not to take decisions too rapidly and not to act on what you believe or on your intuition or inspiration or perhaps presumptions, if you have some presumptions about someone or something, and not to act on confidence or trust too much. Trusting others or trusting yourself can become a source of mistakes during that period of time. So beware, be careful. Incidents and accidents can happen when Mars transits one sign. And for you, I repeat, it will be between the 1st of April until the 17th of May 2019. And to finish, Venus. Will Venus transit your sign? Yes, it will transit your sign from the 10th of June until the 4th of July. Venus will be here in your sign, and it will be there to bring you a bit of joy, a bit of luck as well. So Venus is the planet of love. It is the planet that represents the good things of life. It's linked to Taurus. So it is always a period of time during which good things may happen. And it could be luck, it could be opportunities, it could be anything nice. And if you have something to do, if you plan to go traveling, for example, if you have to go to a meeting or to apply for a job, whatever it can be, if you do it while Venus is in your sign, people will feel and have a better understanding of you and will have also more sympathy for you. And they will like you more than when Venus is not in your sign, which doesn't mean that they won't like you after that. But if you have to do something important, if you choose that period of time to do it, you will find that it's easier for you to get what you want. So try it and let me know what happens. Of course, it's only about your sign. I'm not talking about the rest of your chart, once again, because I don't know your chart, of course. I don't even know you. So I don't know who is watching me on YouTube, naturally. Anyway, that's it for now. And I repeat, if you want to go a bit further into that explanation, into the forecast, and if you need a forecast, a very personalized forecast for yourself, visit my website and you'll have the information about it, and you can order from there. Thank you very much. Good luck, and have a very nice year, 2019. Take care and be careful of Jupiter. Jupiter can be what we call a false friend. Bye for now.